Okay, so back on to horror. Ken, as you mentioned in the introduction, Scott, that's quite unusual for us. Let's never do this again. But,
Yes.
but the new Halloween film, I believe you saw that.
Yes.
And I believe you... Well, I'm not going to give away the ending. Did you like the new Halloween film, Scott? Let's tell the people that.
I stand by my Twitter review of a dancing poop emoji. Yeah, so Halloween, the latest in the Halloween franchise, a franchise proving as difficult to kill as the series antagonist, asks us to disregard all but Carpenter's original, covered in podcast Passum. This is easy enough for me, as the only one I've seen is the Rob Zombie remake, which did not encourage further exploration, because it was a third festival. So,
yes, and the only good Rob Zombie film ever is, well, no Rob Zombie films apart from that small part of A House of Thousand Corpses when Sid Haig is dressed as a clown and tells the woman that he's got some very important clown business, so I'm going to be taking your car because that clown business supersedes any plans you may have for the day.
official clown business.
The official clown business, yes.
Right, so here we are, 40 years on from the original, with Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode still traumatised by the events of that fateful night, having been turned into a doomsday prepper of sorts, with her doom imagined as the big lad in a boiler suit and a cheap mask, Canadian funny man Michael Myers, or The Shape as I'm apparently supposed to call him. Hard pass on that.
Sorry, Scott, but I had seen some mention of The Shape somewhere, and I've only ever seen the original Halloween, which isn't good. I have discovered, having watching it, well, for the first time since I was 8 years old last week. It's like, oh, this film's entirely unremarkable. Okay. But yeah, why, given that from the beginning he had a name, did he become known as The Shape? Explain that to me, please.
You are asking entirely the wrong person. I presume it's because
funny answer.
I presume it's because Michael Myers has a shape. Therefore, is The Shape? I'm not sure.
Trapezoid?
That would be better.
Don't think a huge one.
If a horror film where you're being haunted by just abstract geometric shapes, I think would be a substantially better film, certainly than this one. But with the bulk of modern horror, I would say.
Like that bit in Inside Out.
Yes. So Myers is currently locked up under the care of one Dr. Sartain before a pair of annoying podcasters show up to provide background information and general exposition for anyone who missed the first film, and in some fashion I can't quite remember kicks off the events that leads to Myers escaping during a prison transfer and returning to Haddonfield to finish his job. Meanwhile in Haddonfield, Laurie's in the middle of family troubles. Her granddaughter Alison, played by Andy Machiak, is fine with her, but her daughter Karen, Judy Greer, hasn't quite forgiven her for being raised to be perpetually battle-ready for a threat that never arrived, and would rather Alison live a normal childhood rather than a Myers prepper. Oh, the irony.
Is this Terminator 3?
Basically, yes, it is that from it. Anyhow, as you'd expect, the family must in the end band together to face off against the rampaging Myers after he's done butchering about 5 times as many people as he did in the first film. Now, to be scrupulously fair, there are some elements in David Gordon Green's effort that aren't a parade of turds. There's a mist-laden scene during Myers' initial escape that's the only time this film gets close to the tension that was, for me anyway, the point of the Carpenter film, and Jamie Lee Curtis is really great here, and that leads to a 10-minute sequence at the end that, were the rest of the film on that same level, would make this a really good film. Unfortunately, the remainder of the film is a turducopia. Rather than link back to Carpenter's films, this is much more inspired by the end point of the arc Carpenter started in the slasher subgenre, with Myers chopping up dozens of people you don't care about in a curiously boring set of murders as entertainment, and deaths without any meaning behind them just feels trite these days, a throwback to an era that I wasn't all that enamoured with in the first place. Set against this, it's hard to care all that much about Alison's boyfriend and school troubles. There's not much point grounding your heroes in reality when the rest of the film is so wildly unrealistic. Which brings us to Dr. Sartain, and what I believe is the single most offensive plot twist I've ever come across, a completely nonsensical, idiotic, insulting, downright turdatory moment that by itself would have me wanting to put this film in a bag and set fire to it on someone's doorstep. But in the rest of the film, where nothing else of interest is happening anyway, I suppose you just have to let it slide. Now, there are people who like this film, I'm told, even some people whose opinion I normally respect. And yes, Colin Erica, I am talking to you. I am staggered by this, as I can't imagine anyone putting up with any of this film's nonsense after that turn of events. A turn of events is like a turn of events, but much worse. It makes this mediocre film enragingly insufferable, and as such, I recommend you do not suffer this garnful of turds. In conclusion, I award this Watch Mandy out of 10.
Yeah. I think it's quite obvious that I am never going to watch this film. It's a genre that I am continually disappointed by.
You win.
It sounds like it. I have come away with the grand prize of the evening.